Hey friends, come on in. Welcome to my segment of the Spring Craftathon hosted by Melanie over at Southern Crush at Home. I'm so excited to be sharing a fun spring idea with you. There's been some presenters all day long, so you can go check them out over in the link in the description. We'll give you all the info you need and even get you registered for some fun giveaways. And then there's some presenters after me as well. Just lots of inspiration for you around your home. So I would love to show you what I'm going to put together with a thrifted grapevine basket that I found. Let me give you a close-up look. I paid a whopping $1.75 for this basket. If you're new here, I would love to know where you're watching from. And if you've been around for a while, you know I can't pass up the basket section at the thrift store. And this one was so unique. Immediately, a bird's nest came to mind. But I want to tell you this. So while I am creating with this one, I could encourage you to maybe grab a grapevine wreath of your own and put some kind of bottom under it or some kind of platter and build a similar nest that we're going to build today. And I have a fun freebie for you that goes along with my project today. It's a printable download, and I'm going to show those to you in a minute. But let's go ahead and get this price tag off of here. Like I said, can't beat $1.75 for a thrifted piece of decor that has so much character. It definitely looks handmade. I mean, it's gorgeous. And I even love the addition of the handle, but it would look good without it too. So if you see these, grab them. You can even do this in a regular basket. You don't have to have the grapevine. It just brings in that extra natural element with the woodsy look. Okay, so first to get started, we're going to lay down some different textures. And we're going to come back to this with just a little look at what the freebie is for you that goes along with this project. Are some downloads, and they're called Bird Lovers Vintage Inspired Flashcards. And at the end, I'll show you another way that I've used a different flashcard from another bundle set. But this one's free for you, and it's all about birds. So the first page says Bird's Nest, Feather, and Birdhouse. And then all the different birds. I've got cardinal, bluebird, canary, robin, sparrow, mockingbird, starling, chickadee, lark, hummingbird, wren, and finch. And so you would just cut these out. These are printed on cardstock. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to use them in this little thing that we're doing today. And if you want to comment the word freebie, F-R-E-E-B-I-E, you'll get a link in your messenger inbox, and it'll let you go through the process of accessing this free download bundle. And there's a lot of other freebies on that page that you'll land on my blog as well. And so feel free to take a look around and find something that you want to create with. There's all kinds of goodness over there. Okay, so let's get back to our basket. Do you recognize what this is? I've shown this a couple times, but it is so beautiful. It's wonderful texture, especially for a bird's nest look. And these are those cocoa liners that go inside the plants to hold the moisture in. So if you have some that are kind of beat up that you're going to replace or anything like that, don't toss them, because you can repurpose them as moss-like texture for your crafts. And I've used them in a number of different ways, but we're going to line some of the basket with this, and I love this beautiful orange color. So really it's pretty easy just to rip apart. And I would think if the birds probably go after a little bit when they are trying to build their nest. And so it comes apart pretty easy, and then you can just kind of play with it and add it in whatever basket that you're going to be using for this idea, because I sure hope that you'll create something similar. Or you can make it in a smaller version or a very large version. So pretty budget-friendly texture for sure. Love how that's looking. Look how that looks against that grapevine. Ooh, I love that. Okay. Now, let me know if you've created any bird's nest, if you are a bird lover, if you like to watch the birds in your backyard or hear their sweet songs like I do during the spring. They just make the prettiest music. And I can add more of this if I want to, but I'm just kind of laying down a little base. Look how cute. I think I might add just a smidge more. I've got lots of texture and some different things we're gonna incorporate, so I have to be careful not to overload it too much. Okay. All right, so once we get that in there, now I'll try to add in some other texture elements. I have a mixture of some different mosses. This stuff is so fun to use for the texture, but it is a mess. It is a real mess. So this is just some gray Spanish moss. I'm gonna take a little bit of that. I really like mixing the mossy textures for the color and the texture. But I'll just add a little bit of that, not in big, huge clumps like I laid down the nest of the cocoa liner. But I'm just kind of spread it around, kind of like so, where it looks very natural, like a little bird. Just went and got something off the ground, some grass, and here's some just natural, kind of almost like a raffia grass. It has a pretty green color to it. And I'm gonna put some of that around as well. And I might tuck some more of that here and there. Not really sure. But I'm just trying to get all those colors going in there. Isn't that so pretty? Okay, so now I'm gonna bring in some eggs and some other natural elements. And we'll get to that printable here in a little while. And then I've got some greenery. Let me grab it. And some little sprigs, just to add some brightness. These are just little pieces I have kept from little pieces of floral and such. And this is some greenberry sprigs. These are some sprigs that'll look nice and bring in some green too. So we'll just kind of lay some of that around. I'll let some of that kind of hang off the edge a little bit like that. See how pretty? Basically trying to create an organic look without overthinking it. So then you want to put your materials in sporadic places. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little pop of brightness. Look what that does. That's so pretty. That, to me, that really does it. So if you have some little florals like that, dried florals would work, or any kind of faux florals. I want this to look good from all sides because I plan on putting this one, I think, as long as my puppy won't mess with it, in the center of my coffee table for the spring. Could be quite nice. And I do think this makes a really beautiful centerpiece. If you wanted to do something like this outdoors or even with real florals, you maybe could leave them in there to dry out, or arrange it somehow where they could have a little water underneath here. You know how to do all that. Okay, I'm gonna set this one back under here. I'm making all of my embellishments temporary. Look how pretty that looks. Simply because I want to repurpose this basket in a different way maybe, and so I'm not gonna hot glue anything in place, but if you were building one and you wanted to, I think it would be great to glue it in place. All right, I'll save some of this extra greenery if I want it. Y'all tell me where you're watching from. Tell me if you've tuned in before, if you've seen any projects that you want to try from other creators today, and any creators you're looking forward to seeing. And again, you can click that link that's in the description, and it will take you and let you look through all the presenters. Okay, here's some little natural picks I picked up. Just a little, it's just about the texture, not so much the color with this, but I'm gonna throw a little bit of that in there. These are really pretty. I don't know what they are. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what they are, but I picked them up in the, if you saw the package, it said the His and Her Studios, and that's like the wedding section over in Hobby Lobby. They almost kind of remind me of the gumballs that fall out of the trees a little bit, but then kind of like a pine cone too. But look at this. Let's just get a close-up look of the extra texture that those add. See how pretty that is? Love that. Okay, and I'm not sure we really need any more of those, so let's do that. Okay, next I have to leave room for all my good stuff going on in here. I've got a little bird figurine, and it's a ceramic one. I've got two, and I think based on the shape, I'm gonna use this one. I got this from Hobby Lobby, but it is breakable. This one has its tail down, and that one, so they're shaped a little differently. So I'm just gonna put one bird in for now and see how that looks, because I don't wanna overcrowd it. Look, it's already so pretty. I love it. I know it. I have another bird too. Let me show you what it would look like. It's a little white. I need to probably put some antiquing wax on it, but look how much that one pops. Let's do that and put a little bit of antiquing wax on this bird, because I kind of like the way that white rusty one pops better. All right, I'm just using some Amy Howard dark antique wax. So this bird has that chippy, rusty texture on it, but I need to just kind of dull down that white a smidge for my taste. And so let me get that on there. We're gonna use this wax on our printables too. Our one printable that we're gonna use in this one. I would love to know which flashcard you think I'm gonna use out of the set. I'm only using one. That looks much better. So see how that kind of, see that side has the antique wax on it, and that's still the bright side. So I feel like one, I mean, we could get away with using any of them that we wanted to. I think you're gonna like the one that I choose. And I can't wait to see how y'all use those, because there's so many different ways to display them. Just look and search vintage flashcard decorating, and you'll see all kinds of ideas on Pinterest and Google about different ways you can use those. All right, I like that much better. You see how that just antiqued that bird? Perfection. Okay, so now let's put, yes, that's the one. That's the one. As much as I love a green bird, I've got other places I can use this one. Okay, now, oh, I forgot. I do have a couple of twigs, just random little twigs. You could gather, let's see if these will break. You could gather some from the yard. No, those aren't gonna break. I'll just stick them in their hole. And that just adds some other little, you probably can't see, can you see the little twig right there? It's all those little details when you see something like this in person. All right, now let me put these in there and see how that color pops. This one's probably gonna be a little too white. I would have to put some antique wax on it. But I could very easily. I think I'm gonna do at least 3 eggs, I think. And what I want this bird to sit up just a smidge higher, so I'm gonna take a little bit of this gray moss, just give him or her just a little bit more height. And I gotta leave room for some other things. This is where it gets tricky. All right, I'm gonna put a little bit of this antique wax on this one little foam egg. See the difference there? The little antique wax on one side. Kind of helps just dull down that brightness. And I might, just to give some extra movement, do that to the other eggs. It's looking good. What do you think? I'll be wrapping up here in just a few minutes, but we only have a couple more steps to do. And then you'll want to go check out that link in the description so that you are set up to see the next person. That looks so good. And I can arrange these more when I get my other thing put in there. Isn't that so pretty? Okay. Let me get a little sip of water here. Making sure I put all the stuff I had laid out. I did. Okay, now comes our printable. Again, these are all beautiful birds. You can comment the word freebie, F-R-E-E-B-I-E, and you will get a link in your inbox that takes you to my freebie library, and you can scroll through and find the printables that you like. And you're gonna see this one towards the top because it's one of the newer ones. I'm gonna be using the word nest. So let me cut that out and I'll show you. This is just cut out on white cardstock. Sometimes I try to cut right along because these are not the first little flashcards, because they are in some of, there's an Easter bundle that has these flashcards. There's one from Christmas. There's one from the fall. And so I'm trying to get them all created for all the seasons just because I love them little touches in my decor. Okay. And it'll look a little too new if you just print it out. It'll look cute because it has kind of a rustic background. See that? But just to give it a little bit more character, that's when that wax comes in. And let's turn this over and do the wax on it as well. So just go over the top, and I'll hold the before up and let you see. And doing it like this makes it to where you can grunge it up and antique it as much as you want. And then I'm gonna do the back too, because it'll probably show. So that's gonna be right over the white. Okay, and now I think we are good. So look at the difference here of one that hasn't been antiqued and one that has. So that's how that works. And we will have to kind of look at it the way that I'm going to do it. So I kind of have to give it a look of how it's going to be displayed. And depending on how you're using it, you might have to wiggle it in, you know, and then decide. I want this egg to show. That's why I said I might have to move some stuff around. I didn't really know. Kind of hard to know until you get it all laid out. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I really want it to kind of do something a little different than it's doing right now, just barely. It's this one piece of grapevine. So get it in the nest. Get it in the nest and you're good. Got a little bird nestled in here. Okay, one final touch. I've got some ripped pieces of Osnaburg and some pretty brown floral. I ripped those and I also brushed them a little bit with some antique wax. And as a final touch, I'm gonna tie a few pieces on here. I had such a great time showing you this idea. What I hope you'll do is enjoy the rest of the Craftathon today. Go back and check out some replays as well. I'm gonna show you, we have enough time for me to show you within this last minute how I used another card from a different collection. I love it so much. And I'm just tying these and letting them hang. I can trim them up just a little bit. So pretty, just a sweet little touch. If I could just get this little thing to do what I want it to. There we go. That's more where I want it. Perfect. So with the little fabric on the front, we have the sweetest little, oh, it's so cute. What a beautiful arrangement. I hope you love this idea. Let me show you how I used one that says eggs. You can check this out over my blog at hammondsnest.com. That's how I used one that said eggs, made kind of a little nest of giant eggs. And there you have it. So I hope you enjoy that freebie bundle and that you enjoy all the spring inspiration that you're getting from the Craftathon Spring Edition. Thank you so much, Melanie, for having me. Y'all have a beautiful day. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.